Well, bom dia, Colemanson here with the Good Morning Portugal live stream. How are you this morning? Look, this is so embarrassing. I've got a little cut on the end of my nose, and I was just having a quick chat with Filomena. She thinks it's to do with drinking Matthias Rosé last night and getting in a fight. It wasn't as bad as that. It really wasn't, but it's really inopportune, isn't it, when you're just about to go on air and you injure yourself in this way. I don't even know how it happened. How weird. Anyway, enough about me. Do excuse me for looking like I have been in a brawl this morning. I hope you're well. Gemini is. Good morning to you, Gemini. Very quick look at the weather and a couple of news items, and then we'll bring Filomena on because it's Filomena Friday, everybody, where she is here to answer questions about the Portuguese language. And what usually happens is that we do a little bit of Portuguese culture as well, because Filomena is one of our Portuguese best friends forever on the show, who helps us as expats live a more fulfilling, enjoyable life here by understanding the language and the culture much better. It's the least we can do. So good morning to you, Gemini. Who else is here this morning? I know there's a few of you. We are broadcasting on YouTube now. It's a habit. We've done a whole week of successful broadcasting live on YouTube. So I know there's a few of you watching via YouTube as well. And as usual, going out on the Facebook pages of expatsportugal.com and the Good Morning Portugal show. So good morning, one and all. Do let me know who you are and where you are and what your relationship is to Portugal. So first off, this weather. And I think I've been saying all week, and the reason I return to the weather each morning is one, because I'm British, and as you know, we are obsessed with the weather. But the other thing is it changes, doesn't it? I like to have a look at the week ahead on Monday, and then I like to see how that's changing. And then obviously on a Friday, I like to see how the weather's looking for this weekend that's coming up, where people in Portugal are bound in their municipalities unless they've got a really good excuse to travel. This is the celebration of All Saints' Day in Portugal this weekend, and a remembrance of those of our ancestors and those who've passed away. A very special weekend in the Portuguese calendar, as I'm sure Filomena will reiterate. But people are not meant to be moving around the country this weekend as a way of minimizing the spread of the virus. So in Lisbon at the moment, 14 degrees and clear. Look, it's a nice day in Lisbon. 24, the high to look forward to. Lovely day in Lisbon, actually. And a fairly good weekend. Temperatures of 23 and 22, respectively, for Saturday and Sunday, albeit a little bit cloudy. And let's have a look in Porto. Another lovely day in Porto. Temperature slightly low, as you might expect, but still a very nice 20 degrees, the high today in Porto, and 20 degrees tomorrow, Saturday, a cloudy day, but the rain returns in Porto on Sunday and Monday in Coimbra. The weather pattern that I enjoyed was in Coimbra yesterday. That screensaver picture that you saw if you were in early is of the Coimbra Forum. And I took a picture of my lunch in there. I know it's a bit of a naff thing to do, take pictures of your food and stick them on Instagram and Facebook or whatever. Guilty as charged occasionally. But it was the view in the distance. I had a lovely plate of fried noodles and a nice Portuguese beer to go with. I took the picture, but what I wanted to convey was the magnificent view from the Coimbra Forum as you sit there of the Estrela Mountains. Anyway, weather in Coimbra, 12 degrees today and clear, a nice sunny day, 23 the high, and a fairly nice looking weekend, 23 degrees the high over the weekend, a little bit cloudy. Go down south to Faro now, 17 degrees and clear, 24 and a bit cloudy today. Nice day tomorrow, Saturday, 23 degrees and 24 degrees on Sunday. A little bit cloudy. So not an absolutely wonderful weekend weather-wise with lots of sunshine, but very mild still, a little bit of rain in some parts of the country probably, but a nice weekend given that we're locked in to our municipalities to be enjoying some nice weather. Don't go to Nazaré. People were going to Nazaré yesterday. Let me just share this with you to see those wonderful big waves that are the best in 3 years, apparently. But stimulating fears there of a pandemic viral spread. People going, understandably, being drawn to the coast, to the Atlantic, to see those amazing waves, but stimulating fears again of the virus spreading. Look at this. Let me see if they've got a nice picture at the Portugal resident this morning. Oh, they've reported on people going there, but no pictures of the waves. Pictures of the people, a wave of people. Look at all those people gathering there, and fears that will spread the virus. Measures to combat the spread of the virus, this from Natasha Don at the Portugal Resident, have now extended to stopping people coming out to watch the waves. Explain reports today authorities have blocked pedestrian access to the famous lighthouse in Nazaré, where monster waves and often intrepid surfers crazy enough to ride them can be viewed by the public in comparative safety. The reasoning is that if too many people turn out, there will be an agglomeration. What a great word that could be. If we can get a Portuguese translation of that, that might be a palavra do dia. We'll have a few of those today with Filomena, which could see infections spreading. You get the gist of that, and you can look from the comfort of your own home, actually, with Mayo's beach cams, which are really rather excellent. And let's have a look at one more story then. I don't know if Filomena will want to comment on this or not. I do need somebody to come and talk to me, or a couple of people to come and talk about Portuguese politics. So many of us here have the political age of 5-year-olds, given that we're new to the culture and we don't really know what's going on. So it'd be really great to have a beginner's guide to Portuguese politics, probably on one of our evening shows. But look at this, the president, and they, on this campaign, they have put the mask over the president's eyes. Portugal's looming borough lockdowns, that began today at 1 minute past midnight. Absolutely illegal, says presidential candidate. The top lawyer and presidential candidate, Tiago Maia Gonçalves, has told Público and Radio Renascença this week that the borough lockdowns coming into place at 1 minute past midnight today are absolutely illegal and patently unconstitutional. More about that at portugalresident.com. We've got to talk to Filomena because it's Filomena Friday. She may or may not have a view on that. She certainly has views on the Portuguese language and the Portuguese culture, and she is with us on the screen now. Hello, Filomena. How are you?
Olá, bom dia. Bom dia a todos.
Hola, bon dia. Yes, bon dia a todos, to everybody tuned in. Should we start, find out who they are this morning? Because you are a popular guest here. Hola, bon dia. It's still lovely here, says Paul, down in the south of Portugal. Joe Johnson. I think you being on the show has drawn Joe here. Good morning, gang. She says, Stephen Green, good morning from Portland, Oregon, USA. You're up late, or are you up early? Stephen, great to have your company. Neil just tubed in and missed the action. What happened, Mrs. M? No, I haven't been fighting here at home. Yay, it's Friday. I don't know what happened, Neil. It's a weird one, and it's so embarrassing to be sort of facing the camera. I'm not exactly covered in blood, but not being able to staunch the flow. Let me put it that way. Bon dia, my brother from Frank, who'll be joining me, of course, on the Expat Man Cave tonight. Hola, bon dia from Owen. Hola, bon dia, lovely and sunny in Lisboa. Oh, you made it to the capital. Fantastic, Owen. I'm sure you've got a great weekend ahead of you there. Sit tight, stay where you are. Good morning from Julia Santamere. Good morning, our wonderful aromatherapist and who joined us for a wonderful bit of laughter yoga recently. And Gillian Glenwright, bon dia from the Isle of Skye, which I'm imagining it in my mind's eye is looking beautiful as well this morning. So let's have a bit of a catch-up, Filomena. How are you doing and how are you faring with the continuing pandemic limitations on our life here in Portugal?
Well, I guess as everybody else, we have to follow the rules and hope for better days. Yeah, so I go on with my lessons, some online, some here in my office. So it's going more or less the same.
Yes, indeed. And fingers crossed. We're all hoping for some sort of change with this, aren't we? As somebody who will understand Portuguese culture better than most of us here, as I said, we're like kids culturally. If you don't speak the language, you don't hear what people are saying, do you, in the cafes and on the bus or the train? Which is where I would pick up my sort of political information and awareness back in England. You could hear people moaning about things. I don't really know if people are moaning or not. What is the atmosphere among Portuguese people?
Especially because the Portuguese speak too loud, isn't it? So you never know.
Well, loud and fast. That's what I tell you. What since you and I have known each other, and do please get your questions in, everybody. It's wonderful to have Filomena here on Filomena Friday, and she is here to help you. So if there's anything you want to know about speaking Portuguese, do type your question in, and she'll help you. And that's what she's here for, very kindly with us on these occasions. What I've noticed in terms of my understanding of Portuguese now is with it being so fast. And that thing that I might have remarked upon before, someone who said the Portuguese are always hungry. They even eat their words. I'm beginning to understand a bit in the middle. So there'll be somebody speaking in Portuguese, and I'll miss the beginning bit. Then I'll hear a couple of words in the middle, and then it will disappear again at the end. So that's where I'm at the moment. It's not intermediate. It's just like I'm understanding more in the middle.
Well, it's good if you already understand the middle. It's fantastic, right? Better than nothing. Yes,
Yeah.
but yes, Portuguese do speak fast, and we do tend to link the words together. And so sometimes people, when they come to my classes and they ask me, "I've heard this. What word is this? What word is this?" And I tell them, "It's not a word; it's a complete sentence." So, you know, but sometimes it seems like one word, and it isn't.
Yeah. Okay. So we just keep trying, and as you say, that you help people with this process. Wonderful thing about you is there's a choice, as you said, that people can come and visit you in your office, or you are doing a bit of obviously not face to face, but the next best thing, yeah, the online teaching.
Yes.
What are people's attention spans like? How long are your sessions when you do them online?
1 hour, for 1 hour.
So you keep people going for an hour, and you're teaching them at every level of Portuguese?
Yes, different levels. Yes, for the complete beginners or for the ones that just want to practice speaking. Different levels, right?
Yeah, of course. And another part of what you do is you can help people with translation, and you even sometimes go along with people to meetings and so on.
Yeah, many times.
Like, what sort of things would that be?
Well, for example, to the finance department, to the building where you have to go and fill in some forms or something, or ask for your fiscal number simply, or sometimes to the town hall to ask for something, or for example, for the residence certificate, to a lawyer sometimes, because if the lawyer doesn't speak English and people want to solve something, different things. I go to the doctor also. I've been to the doctor, yes, because the doctor didn't speak English, so the patient felt more confident with me. So I went to the doctor with this customer, and well, I've been with him every time he goes to the doctor.
That's amazing. I mean, I laughed. I obviously shouldn't laugh at people being poorly and having to go to the doctor, but there is a massive comedy possibility in there, isn't there? That could become very humorous, depending.
Yeah, and if you are not feeling well, and if you are worried also about the languages, it's a lot of pressure. So
I bet it's lovely to have you there on those occasions.
it feels so calm when I go with him, because at least he knows that no problem with the language.
Okay. Is it true that Portuguese people are very direct? I mean, here's an example. Annalise is not messing about. She just says to me, "What happened to your nose?" And another. Yeah, this brings to mind another thing. As you can see, my bald head here is the result of a lack of Portuguese language. I went to see the lovely lady who cuts my hair, who's done it twice now, and I just said limpar, meaning just clean up the sides. She did limpar over the whole lot, like she was, when you have to clear the forest next to your house. She did that to my head, and obviously I needed you with me for that. Is this a thing? Because actually previously another barber. The woman said to me, "Have you ever thought about having a hair transplant?" And that's not a question you would be asked in England. People write to you. You see an advert about that sort of thing. You don't have someone just say to you, "Oh, look, you're thinning a bit on top here. You need to you think about having a hair transplant." So is this a thing in Portugal? So are Portuguese people more direct, you think?
Probably they are. Yes, maybe they are. Yeah. I mean, of course, that it changes a lot, being in the city or in the village, or of course, is as in any country, people are different everywhere.
Yes.
But I guess probably we are a bit direct sometimes. Yes.
Okay, I thought so. It's not just me then.
Even when I was teaching at school, a friend of mine who is the history teacher, once he was with me and we met another friend of ours, and he immediately said, "Oh, you are so fat." And then I looked at him. I looked at him and I said, "What a nasty thing to say! Why did he say that?" But well, it's true.
Oh my goodness, that is direct. I suppose is the only word.
Very direct. Yeah, very direct. Yeah.
Goodness gracious. All right. So and again, I suppose if you add a language barrier to that as well, you can find yourself in all sorts of trouble, couldn't you? Speaking a different language and being direct. Goodness. Okay. So let's get some more comments coming in, and your questions, please. Portuguese language and culture. It's Filomena Friday. I'm in Fazeta Algarve. Is there anywhere in Fazeta I can learn Portuguese, please? I don't know if we can help that specifically. What would be a good place to start, Filomena?
I don't know, but I'm sure in the Algarve, I'm sure there are plenty of places where you can go and learn. In Fuzeta, I'm not sure, but I'm sure she can, I don't know, look online, something. I don't know. I don't know the area.
I suppose one thing we could glean from this Algarvian situation, and the thing about English people or English speakers, or actually anybody, yeah, it probably is English speakers. What we've noticed is in parts of the country where it's possible to speak English, Portuguese people often like to speak English to you to practice their English. And
yes.
What would be great is the phrase, if you could teach us today, Phil, I mean, the phrase for I'd like to speak with you in Portuguese, or could we speak Portuguese, please? I'm trying to learn. How can we do that one? Because I think that'll be really useful. I notice a lot if I go into the city, people will guess that I'm English, probably because I've got blood on my face or something like that. And then we'll just start talking to me in English. So what do I do to change that conversation and say, I'm trying to learn Portuguese. Can we speak in Portuguese, please? And maybe slow down.
Yeah. Well, first of all, you can say, I prefer to speak in Portuguese. You can say, prefiro falar em português, por favor. Right? So you can say, prefiro falar em português, por favor.
Prefiro falar em português, por favor.
Prefiro.
As in the O on the end is I, the first person. Prefiro. Fala português. Português, por favor.
Prefiro falar português, por favor. Then you could ask to speak slower. Pode falar mais devagar, por favor.
Can we hear that one again? Sorry, that.
Pode falar mais devagar, por favor. Can you speak slower, please? Pode falar mais devagar.
Mais devagar. Could you just say that a little bit, like, slowly, mais devagar? Yeah.
Mais devagar.
Mais devagar. Okay, so I'm thinking how I like to remember things is like a word that, the Latin or our equivalent word vigor I'm hearing in there. Mais devagar. Less vigorously with the Portuguese.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you can.
That's fantastic. Yeah. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Nick says, generalization, Carl, people up north are particularly direct. Oh, okay. So, yeah, this is Nick's take on the direct thing. And I'm sorry to speak in generalizations as well. Often we have to in these sorts of situations that we find ourselves doing it. People up north are particularly direct, whereas Lisboetas are so very different and avoid such interventions. Well, it wasn't. You go on.
Yeah, sorry. As I said, people are different everywhere, and especially if you speak about people in the city versus people in the village or in the town, it's very different sometimes.
Yeah, of course. However, it was in near Lisbon where I was asked if I wanted a hair transplant. Anyway, bom dia, Nicolau aqui, Alcoet. Linguistically, Spanish is much faster, says Nick. So I should count my blessings there, perhaps. Paul is saying, apparently we're going to have a full moon tomorrow, the first Halloween since 1944 with a full moon. and the year is 2020. In case we didn't know, yes, yes. It's like we don't need any extra influences that can cause trouble, do we? But that's not sounding brilliant. And of course, we need to know a bit of vocabulary, I think, Filomena, if we may, around Halloween. So what is Halloween in Portuguese?
Well, first of all, Halloween, of course, is not a tradition that is typical Portuguese, of course, it's not. But we do have Portuguese traditions around the date. So especially the 1st of November, the All Saints Day. Of course, we call it, for Halloween, we just say Dia das Bruxas. Dia das Bruxas. So the witch. Yeah, Witch's Day.
Okay.
That's how we refer to Halloween, Dia das Bruxas. And then there are traditions, Portuguese traditions, that nowadays they are a bit lost. But when I was a child, for example, and my daughter also, we used to go around and knock at the doors on the 31st of October in the evening. So especially here in Coimbra, in the area of Coimbra, it was a tradition to go and ask for bolinhos e bolinhos. Bolinhos e bolinhos. So it's not trick or treat, but bolinhos or bolinhos. And there is a song, a traditional song, that actually people still do it here the children still do it here in Miranda. Sometimes I have children that come to my house. I always prepare some bags for them with some sweets, some cakes, and when they go, I just take a bag and go to the door. But although probably this year nobody's coming because of the virus, but there is a song also that the children sing. I can sing it for you.
I would love to hear that. I really would love to hear that. Please do.
Yeah. Well, I'm not very good at singing, but I'll try. Okay, so the song goes like: bolinhos e bolinhos para mim e para vós, para dar aos finados que estão mortos enterrados à porta da bela cruz, truz, truz. A senhora está lá dentro, assentada num banquinho. Por favor, venha cá fora para nos dar um tostãozinho. So it's more or less like this.
Oh, lovely.
And then there are two versions. If the person opens the door, then they go on singing like that. Esta casa cheira a broa, aqui mora gente boa. And if the door is not open, then they sing: esta casa cheira a alho, aqui mora espantalho.
What does that mean? So obviously, what I'm really loving here is, as we can tell, can't we? All the commercialized versions of our human holidays and festivals have their root in something more profound and special. And you've nailed it there with the Portuguese tradition, because I heard of this. This is the day before we remember our ancestors and those who've passed away, right? People go house to house, and you will get the cakes, or you might get a seasonal fruit as well. You might get some seasonal fruit like a pomegranate or something like that.
Yes.
So people are moving around in their communities in anticipation of remembering their dead, basically, and tending to the graves and so on. And then you see how it gets corrupted into just a straightforward trick or treat, or at Christmas time, we forget all these special bits and just get straight down to the presents and stuffing your face and all that sort of thing. But it's so lovely. Thank you for helping us remember, the specialness and the tradition behind the trick or treat, because obviously this predates the commercial Halloween trick or treat thing by centuries.
Well, of course, don't forget that the American tradition, of course, has got European background, isn't it? I mean, because Europeans went to America, so of course the origin is European, basically. But of course now with Halloween, it changed, with all the dressing up and everything, because in Coimbra, as I said, and especially in the area of Coimbra, because again it changes a little bit in the north, in the south, But sometimes, for example, there are some places where the children would go on the 1st of November in the morning to ask for the cakes. So there are a few differences, not on the 31st of October, but on the 1st of November, they would go and knock at doors. They didn't used to dress up. They were just carrying a pumpkin, a jack-o'-lantern, or sometimes a shoebox when the children were very, very poor and they didn't even afford to have a pumpkin. So they would carry a shoebox and they would cut the shoebox, like a face and with a candle inside or something. And so this is how it used to be. And of course, also because the earthquake in Lisbon, the big earthquake in 1755, was also on the 1st of November. And yeah, it was on the 1st of November, 1755. So it was also a way for the poor children. So in 1756, for example, 1 year later, to go and to collect some sweets, something for them on the 1st of November or on the 31st of October in some cases.
Amazing. Thank you for that history as well. This is the value we get from you whenever you join us. It's fantastic. So I'm going to dedicate your song, and we'll go back to the song. My granddaughter Caprice is listening, says Ana Lucia. She would like you to say hello to her. She is sick, so I'm going to say in Portuguese, "Hola, bom dia, como está, Caprice?" Do you
Hola, hola, Caprice.
Hola, Caprice. Great to have you here, Caprice. And I hope you enjoyed the song. And we've also got to say hello to some other people, actually. This will be a surprise to quite a few people. Good morning to Sam and Rob, who've tuned in, just driving all the way down from Jersey in their motorhome. Fantastic. Have a great trip, you guys. That's with love from Neo and Rita there. So the song, I love it. It's got two endings. The one where you... where the door gets open.
A successful one and an unsuccessful one.
So what's the translation of those? Because I could hear,
Esta casa cheira a broa. Esta casa cheira a broa. Aqui mora gente boa. What is this? Esta casa cheira a broa. You know the word broa?
The bread?
Yes.
Yes, cornbread.
Yes. So esta casa cheira, not with your nose today.
Okay,
cheira.
rub it in.
What's is cheira?
Oh, this house smells of cornbread.
Yeah. Esta casa cheira a broa. Very good, very good. Aqui mora gente boa. To rhyme with broa.
Yes.
Boa, right? Aqui mora gente boa. Here lives
kind people, kind and good people.
Yes. Yeah.
Well,
esta casa cheira a broa. Aqui mora gente boa.
And you would want to open your door to that, wouldn't you? You get a nice compliment if you open the door. Fantastic. Yes. And I suppose that gives us a little idea or an insight into Portuguese culture as well. If you want to have a homely house, bake bread, maybe the smell of cornbread traditionally. At this time of year, you got a bit of wood smoke and a bit of cornbread.
There is also another way of finishing if the person opens the door. Esta casa cheira a vinho, aqui mora algum santinho.
I think I know what that means. So this house smells of wine.
Yeah. Aqui mora algum santinho. Santinho. Santo.
Oh, and good health.
Saint.
Yes.
And santinho is to rhyme with vinho. A little saint. So it means also in the sense of good people. So, blessed people.
Yes, I mean, these are the basics, wine and bread.
Yes, yeah. Esta casa cheira a vinho, aqui mora algum santinho.
Beautiful. Okay, and for those miserable ones who don't open the door, what do we sing to them?
Yeah, esta casa cheira a alho, aqui mora algum espantalho.
So the house smells of onions or garlic?
Garlic, alho.
Really?
Yeah.
So your house smells of garlic. A very direct bit of Portuguese culture there. And the other bit?
Aqui mora espantalho.
Espantalho, what's that?
you know those scary straw dolls that you put in the middle of the corn or something?
Scarecrow.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
scarecrow. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So, espantalho. So you are saying that the person is just a scarecrow.
My goodness. Okay, so we've learnt some Portuguese insults as well. If you want to impress it's somebody in Portuguese, oh, this house is so lovely. It smells of wine and cornbread. It's a lovely homely atmosphere. But actually, if someone upsets you, you can say, you smell of garlic and you look like a scarecrow.
Yeah. Or esta casa cheira a unto, aqui mora algum defunto.
What's an unto and a funto then? I don't recognize it.
Esta casa cheira a unto. Unto is lard, you know, the pig's fat.
Yep.
And aqui mora algum defunto,
Funto.
a deceased one, dead one. So aqui mora algum defunto. So here lives someone who is already dead.
So here lives a lardy person, a dead lardy person. Oh my goodness, that is pretty severe. And that relates directly to this Portuguese directness thing that I was talking about before.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. Anna Lucia is listening in from the UK. Bollington, you're getting all over the place, Anna Lucia. Bollington in Cheshire, presumably where you are with family there this morning. Who else should we say hello to? We're looking at some questions here. Yes, to go back to your question, Gemini, of course, Filomena does work via Zoom, so that's an option for you. And there are a number of online things. I think a mix is good. I don't know if you'd agree with me, Filomena. We like what Mia Ejmerej does as well online. But I think, you need to get as many influencers as you can, right?
Oh, yes.
Get out there and talk, go one-to-one, have an online course. I think
yes.
it's good.
Yeah, there are people with me that also are taking courses in other kinds of other, for example, on practiceportuguese.com, which is also great. Or Portuguese lab or other ways of learning, and it doesn't matter because of course the more you can get, the better, right? So if you can learn with different ways, it's also good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a question about Portuguese driving, which I would like us to approach that. I can't actually put it on the screen because of the way Paul's put it. But the thing I'd like to know, actually, before we go there, bon dia, Filomena, Carl, and the Good Morning Portugal community from a nearly completely locked down Belgium from Gianni. So sorry to hear that this morning for you, Gianni. It's the same for us for this weekend, actually, in Portugal. We're having a sort of mini lockdown. And talking of driving, people won't be driving unless they've got a really good reason beyond their municipality border this morning. What is the best way to get into the spirit of Portuguese driving, would you say? From your point of view, and do Portuguese people think the driving is quite, how do I put this? Sort of aggressive and Formula One, and people are very. Although I've said people are quite direct, there is the Portuguese reputation is for being polite and quite laid back, and then that changes when people get into a car. Do Portuguese people recognise that they have a kind of personality shift when they get behind the wheel?
Well, probably not. I just realized that when I started to speak with foreigners, because probably we don't realize that. But yes, you are right. In general, people like to drive fast and they drive too near your car and things like that. Of course, sometimes when you say, oh, the Portuguese drive in the middle of the road, well, I think in that aspect, I think probably if you are living in a village in Portugal and the roads are so narrow, and probably that's why you think that, well, we are in the middle of the road. But if you are in the city, I'm sure people don't drive in the middle of the road in the city. But yes, I have noticed that after some comments from foreigners, yes, but probably we don't realize that.
Well, yeah, I guess, yeah, if that's what you grow up with. And to me, that's how I see it now. It's just different. And it was a bit scary at first, but I've really got into driving in Portugal. I love driving in Portugal. And the thing about driving, you know, I think people should relax a bit more. This is what people came here for, to live a more relaxed way of life. And you can safely assume that that person coming towards you in the middle of the road, when they see you, they'll move over. And I think I even do that now. So it's like, it's just get into a different mindset. You know, don't be so critical or uptight about it with your respective versions of driving and understanding. Come to Portugal, drive in a Portuguese way. And the other thing, in the country, and actually not just in the country, if someone stops in front of you because they need to chat to someone, get with that program as well. Take a chill pill, take it easy. They're seeing their friend, they're saying hello, and they'll move in a minute. So don't get all kind of American or English about it. Oh, tranquilo, calma.
Calma, muita calma.
Muito calma, absolutely.
Yeah, but I've also been to other countries in Europe where I thought that the driving was mad, you know. So I guess it's just when you are somewhere else and it's not like you are used to, you find it strange and dangerous. But for example, I had that experience in Greece, in Poland, you know. So it all depends probably on your own perspective, and I also thought that some situations I had in Greece were quite dangerous and so on. So, but I think probably it's just the way you look at things, and because you are used to one way and then it's a different way. And so, as you said, if someone is coming in the middle of the road, he's not going to hit you, you know, he's going to drive past you. But people just get stressed because of that, and probably they should learn with the Portuguese and calm down.
Indeed, absolutely. And also, I mean, you know, I think what you're touching upon there is a general point, isn't it? About, you know, it's a philosophical approach to life. Is that if you come from the point of view of judging and not understanding, it's probably going to make you stressed and unhappy. But if you come from the point of view of it like being not better or worse, but just different, and you seek to understand the difference, that's going to be a much more educational and enriching position to take, I think.
Yeah, I think that we can't say that this way is better or this way is worse. It's different.
Yes, indeed. And that's a good attitude for any traveller or expat to have, I think. A question from Johnny in Belgium, a linguistic question. The words ending in M seem to sound like an N to us Dutch speakers, such as bem or sim. Do I hear that right, Filomena? This is basic stuff, isn't it? And I think she's right.
Yeah. Well, once I have already told you that the M at the end is there just to make the nasal sound of the previous vowel, right? So the M at the end is never pronounced as M, as an M, but is just there, for example, in sing. So sing, the last sound is just a nasal ing. So it's not the M sound at all. It's just to make the ing a nasal sound. Or in também, you have two nasal pairs, nasal sounds. Também, also também.
Yeah.
So the M at the end is never pronounced as an N or an M, but is just to make the nasal sound of the vowel. So it makes it ang or ing, or you know, just like if you say one, you say you don't pronounce the M.
That's really helpful, because what you've done there is really taught me something. Is like, is it an N? Is it an M? It's neither. It's the nasal. Learn the new nasal sound instead of trying to. And this is when I'm giving over my NIF number, my contribuent. I'm in Lidl, and I'm asked if I've got my contribuent, and I get to the and then I say tres, cuatro, cinco, so nove. And it's always that the one that throws people, and they'll look at me and go, and I say, And that's really helped me with that. And you get these really helpful clarifications if you work with someone like Filomena. Okay, so it's neither, Gianni, it's not an N or an M. It's that nasal sound which we can learn and practice, right?
Yeah. Yes, the nasal sound of the previous vowel. It can be an A, an E, an U, a vowel before, right?
Okay, so what would be an example with an A?
For example, tan, também, também.
Okay, I'm saying, see there, that's another question I have for you. Maybe not quite right now, but because we should prioritize other people's questions. But the difference between sim and pois, because people do want to keep saying sim, don't they? When I think maybe they should be saying something else. So maybe we'll come back to that. Guru Dibani is listening, first time on the channel, liking the channel, listening in from India. And I'm from Bangladesh, a horticulturalist, saying hello to Nick. Like to know about the best cultural traditions in Central Portugal. Well, we've given you some. I mean, we're in that band of Central Portugal going across from the Coimbra district to Castelo Branco.
Yeah.
Do you know Castelo Branco well, Filomena?
More or less. My grandmother was more or less from that area. So yes, I know a little bit. Yeah.
Anything about Castelo Branco that you could tell us in a nutshell about life, a different sort of way of life in Castelo Branco district that would be different to other parts of Portugal?
No, again, as you said before, you can't generalize, isn't it? So, but of course, there are always something that is particular to, like I said, here in Coimbra, the way we used to do bolinhos e bolinhos and other areas of Portugal. In Castelo Branco, I think it's not very different in this tradition, for example. I think it's not very different from this one. But I can't tell you now. I can't tell you.
I know you're on the spot a bit there. Michelle Spiza says, so beautiful. This is referring to your singing. Thank you so much for sharing this tradition. I agree, Michelle. I thought it was lovely. Thank you, Filomena. And another fan here, Eloise. Good morning, Eloise. How you doing? Did you drink Mateus Rosé last night, I wonder? Ah, the lovely Filomena, and her happy laughter, says Eloise. What a lovely way to rise on a Friday morning. Absolutely. Filomena Friday here with us.
With my singing, right? With my singing, you can rise.
Well, maybe we'll get everyone singing it at the end. Gemini are glad of your input as well. How can we get in touch with you? Asked Gemini. How would somebody get in touch with you easily, Filomena?
Well, if you want, I can give you my phone number, and also the Trips for Brits email. You know it, Carl. It's trips for with a number 4. Trips for Brits at gmail.com. So if you send me an email, I'll answer you, and then we.
I'm going to put that in the comments now. Tripsforbrits at gmail.com. I think that's probably an easy way to do it.
Yes.
Rather than giving out your phone number, who knows who might call or what they're all about. You know, when you give out your phone number, you just get people ringing you up trying to sell you stuff, don't you? So at least
the email is the best way. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. And that.
And of course on Facebook. Yes, that's it. And on Facebook, they can also find me under Trips for Brits or Filomena Pascoal. I have both pages.
Okay, that's fantastic. And yes, some interesting comments about driving that we don't need to go into on there. But yeah, I think it's often, as Anna Lucia seems to be saying, it is a minority who can make it more difficult for other people. That's usually the way with human beings. Jerry, good morning, Jerry. Great to have your company this morning. Great show. Thanks, Carl. Really enjoying Filomena's singing and learning so much. Fantastic. Thank you. That helps so much. Not a letter, but a nasal sound. I needed that. We're giving relief here this morning, and Gianni says thanks, that helps. That's wonderful. Okay, so yeah, maybe those 2 questions to conclude then that I have in mind. The first one, maybe we can end with the sim and pois, but before we go there, is there anything you want to know from your point of view as a Portuguese person about these bonkers expats who keep coming to live in Portugal? Is there anything you've noticed, or any questions we could answer for you for the media this morning?
No, I mean, I've just noticed that they keep coming.
Yeah. I think you might see an upsurge in Americans and English with what's going on in their countries at this time, this incredible time in history. Another
Yeah.
very quickly then, before we do sing and push, are there many dialects, and are they very different? Are they very different from the official Portuguese language? Now, I would like to say that I think sometimes even Portuguese people don't understand other Portuguese people. Is that true?
Well, I would say yes if you are speaking about the islands,
Okay.
especially the island, the island of São Miguel in the Azores. Well, some people. Well, I don't. Sometimes people don't understand people from the island of São Miguel because it's quite difficult, quite hard to understand because they have the influence of the French that colonized the island, and so they make the sound of e e. So every u is with this e sound that we don't do it in the standard Portuguese, and it makes it hard to understand. And also other ways of. But speaking of dialects, well, we can't say they are really dialects, but yes, different ways of pronunciation. Yes, there are from the north, for example, if you can identify immediately if someone is from the north, especially because they don't pronounce the V, they say B instead of V. So the way they pronounce things, you can identify immediately that someone is from the north,
Oh.
or also from the Algarve, for example. The sounds of the a like later. They don't pronounce it like a like later. It's more like later or something like that.
Oh, is it?
So yes, there are some different ways. They don't vary so much from the standard Portuguese, but we can identify if someone is from the north or from the south, from Alentejo, for example. Uh, yeah, there are some ways to identify where people are from.
Which we can only dream as expats to finally one day understand those little nuances. Mark Rigby's here this morning as well, just like the Trips for Brits Facebook page. So of course, yeah, I'll do that as
Thank
well.
you.
Yeah, and support Filomena that way. So then finally, Filomena, see and push, because I find that I'm in a shop and someone's talking to me and I'm going, see. I don't think that's quite correct, is it, to do that? It's just habitual.
Well, Portuguese don't usually say sim. If you notice, even if a question is asked, for example, if I ask you, are you English? English, and okay, a Portuguese person wouldn't say yes. Okay, or for example, if you ask me, are you Portuguese? The answer wouldn't start with yes. Usually we say I am, just with a verb, right? So for example, if you ask me, é portuguesa, and the answer would be sou, I am.
Oh.
So this is the way usually Portuguese answer with a yes/no question. We answer instead of sim, we say the verb. So in any question, é casado, sou. So things
Okay.
like that. And when we agree, when we want to say that we think, oh yeah, sure. We say push. So push is just a way of saying yeah, Christmas is so. But yeah, well, you can always say that since so, but a Portuguese would just say so. Yeah, if you say push, you mean yeah, sure, yeah. Like when you say that in English, yeah.
And on a phone, I've heard people saying "ta" as well. Is that right? Like, is that short for "tabain"? Like, okay.
Yeah. Is a short way of saying está.
East.
Está.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So,
está.
okay. All right. So that's everybody's homework. Thank you for that, Christopher. Kirby Higgs saying "CISO." which is it's kind of yes, or yes 2 ways.
Yes, I am. This is sim sou. Yes, I am.
Okay, that's fantastic. And it's got a lovely ring to it as well, Siso. Thank you for that, Christopher. This is your homework today, everybody, to get out there, talk to people in Portuguese as best you can. Probably the cafe. Go support the economy with some lunch, only within your municipality, of course. Observe the restrictions. Go out, have lunch today, and find another way of saying yes to the people you speak to while you're ordering your lunch. Boish, da Costa Diogo. Hi, good morning. Or it's the way you pronounce it. I'm from Lisboa, but living in England. Happy Friday, good weekend. All the best to you all. Thank you. Really appreciate it, Diogo. And sorry to disagree, but Portuguese say sim an awful lot. There's always one.
Yeah.
We're talking about the alternatives, really, Christopher. Yeah, fair enough. People, and isn't it nice that people say yes a lot rather than no? But these are the nuances of yes, pois, and so. Why is it when you speak with someone from Porto, for example, up north, and you say you're from the Algarve? Some people think the Algarve people are not Portuguese. Newsflash, I've never heard that. What's that about, Filomena?
Well, just because the Algarve is full of tourists, isn't it? The Algarve is always full of tourists, but that's it.
Oh, okay.
Right. Of course, there are Portuguese in the Algarve, of course.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And they're a rare species then by the sound of that question. Amazing. All right. So thank you for shedding some light on that. Thank you for being here this morning. Really appreciate it. It's always lovely to talk to you. I agree with Eloise. It's fantastic to have your laughter on the show on Filomena Friday, which I hope we can do.
Especially my singing, isn't it? Especially my singing.
I wondered if we might finish with just another burst of the traditional song for the All Saints Day. I've forgotten what that is now in Portuguese.
Dia de Todos os Santos. Dia de Todos os
Santos. Okay, thank you for that. And may I wish you the best seasonal greetings in that respect for this weekend. And could we, or I would say could you sing that for us once more and pretend that I opened the door rather than telling me I smell of garlic and look like a scarecrow?
Well, okay, I'll try.
If I had I have a guitar here, but I can't play it. I would accompany you if I could.
Okay.
Look, your singing is good. There you go.
Okay. So, bolinhos e bolinhos para mim e para vós, para dar aos finados que estão mortos enterrados à porta da bela cruz. Truz, truz, a senhora está lá dentro, assentada num banquinho, faz favor de vir cá fora para nos dar um tostãozinho. Esta casa cheira a broa, aqui mora gente boa.
Fantastic. I'm going to take that my house smells of bread. And a good person lives here. There are others in the house who can take that accolade. Thank you so much. And yes, absolutely, Eloise. What a sport you are, Filomena. I hope to see you again sometime soon. Have a super weekend and lots of love to you and your family. And hope to be with you again soon.
Obrigada, igualmente.
Igualmente. Bom fim de semana. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao.
And let's extend that to everybody else. Bye, everybody. Have a great weekend. Go careful out there, and we'll see you tonight for the Expat Man Cave with the man like Persian Frank, and again next Monday. And thank you for a fun show, Filomena and Carl. Have a great day. Thank you. Take care, everybody. Bye for now. Beijinhos, abrazos.